What's up, y'all? It's Carla, aka Cla the Poet, and I am here back on the channel. And this is part 2 of the aftermath of what happened over the past 48 hours since the argument, the mental health day, and the triggering. So, right now, I just want to let you guys know I'm doing so much better. I'm doing great. I feel like myself again. I feel like I have got back to a state of a sense of equilibrium. I had a great session with my therapist. I'm going to continue to blog. I'm going to continue to journal. I'm going to continue to uplift myself and practice self-care. And that's what you have to do when you are a survivor. So, thinking back to the argument and how it became that, I had said in the other video that, my father had gotten upset over something I did. So let's talk about that thing. Now, I told you that I had a cousin who reached out to me through the family, through the ancestry journey. And, my cousin, she's, I think, in her 30s. She's younger than me. She's very attractive. She's beautiful. We seem to have a lot in common. We're both artistic type of people and stuff like that. And so what I did was she said she wanted to have a conversation with my dad. And I said, okay, I would reach out to him and his wife. Now, my dad is a married man. He's married to my stepmom. And so what I did was I first reached out to her and I said, I have a 30-something-year-old cousin, who wants to reach out to dad. Is it okay? The reason why I did that is because, she is the woman of the house. That's my dad's wife, and I did it out of respect. I said, could you imagine if my 30-something attractive cousin starts calling my dad, and then his wife gets alarmed and wonder who's this woman calling my dad's phone. So I reached out to her first, and then she in turn told me, well, then you can reach out to your father and just talk to him about it. And so I figured, you know what, she must be okay, she must be down, with my cousin reaching out. So then I text my father, let him know the situation, and then he says that he'll call me. And when we began to have the conversation, he gets mad over the fact that I contacted his wife. But when I thought about it, I said, well, this is your wife. Why would I, allow some strange woman, like somebody who is a stranger, give your number to her to contact you and not tell your wife? It's out of respect for your marriage. So he gets mad that I did that and starts, insulting me, starts berating me, starts accusing me, starts, talking about things I did when I was 20 years old, right? As if that had anything to do with what the situation was right then and there. And so I just realized that it was the same emotionally abusive pattern that I'm used to with my father. It's like you may be having a current conversation about a current issue, but then he goes back to the past of something that maybe I'm not even aware of that upset him, starts bringing it up from when I was 20 years old, right? And so I got angry and started defending myself. And I said, listen, the reason why I reached out to her first was because that's your wife. How would it look if some woman is calling your house? So what I did out of love and respect ended up turning into an argument, right? And that argument, it turned into him like confronting me about things that he was upset about that he never confronted me about when I was in my 20s. We had never had a conversation about how he felt about that. And so I was like, wow, so this is the pattern. This is the same pattern as before. And it's crazy because, when we first initially started talking, when I let him know my son was sick and everything, he apologized to me. And he did let me know that he was upset that we hadn't spoken for 10 years. And I'm like, yeah, well, but in my mind, I know I did it for a good reason. And so me doing something out of respect turns into you trying to I don't even know if I have the words for it, but I do something out of respect for you, out of respect for your marriage, and then it turns into you confronting me about things that you were upset about years ago that you never spoke to me about. And I just realized that I didn't do anything wrong. I stand by what I did because what I did was out of respect. It was the respectful thing to do. And I don't understand for the life of me, why he reacted the way he reacted, but it was unacceptable to me. I'm no longer a child, I'm an adult. And even if you have an issue with me, there's a way that you talk to me. You don't have to yell, you don't have to accuse me, you don't have to, But I just wanted to give more context into what the argument was about and what led to it. That was the thing that he got upset about. And I analyzed it, and I thought about it and I said, well, I think, maybe I could have done something better and do something wrong, but I didn't do anything wrong. What I did was, out of a place of respect, and he became disrespectful. So I know, that my conscience is clear. I know that, I'm to a point where I've made a decision that I'm going to go no contact again. And it hurts, but it's necessary for me. I don't want to spiral again. I don't want to get back to a place where I'm not in equilibrium. I have to be well, not only for myself, but for the family that I have to take care of. I have my kids, my 2 kids that I got to take care of. And if I'm not well, then I'm of no use to them if I'm not well. And I'm of no use to me if I'm not well. So I have to be well, and wellness is what's on top of my list right now. Wellness, progression, peace, and good things. I don't need any unnecessary drama in my life. I don't need somebody trying to tear me down right now. I don't need somebody taking me back to a place where I don't live anymore, because I'm not 20 anymore. I'm, in my 40s now. So, but this is the aftermath. I am back on my A game, and I'm on my way back to work today. I'm smiling. I'm feeling like myself again. And I just wanted to say thank you for all of those who sent good vibes, who may have said a prayer for me. Yeah, I feel like I'm back to where I need to be. So, survivors out there, continue to stay the course. You know that I support you. If you have any commentary, please feel free to comment. And I hope that everyone has a great Wednesday, or should I say hump day, midweek. All right? There'll be more content soon. Peace.